What's happening, everyone? It's Curtis and welcome back to the channel. If you're anything like me, you rely on your devices a lot. Whether it's your smartphone or your tablet or even your laptop, keeping them charged throughout the day can be a struggle, especially when you're on the go and you're managing so much. That's where a solid power bank comes in handy. A good battery bank isn't just about convenience, it's a lifesaver in situations where you can't find an outlet, or when you're traveling, you're commuting, you're filming, or just out for the day, you just have something solid with you. That's exactly why I started using this new battery bank, the INIU Cougar P63. It's a 20,000 milliamp battery, it's fast charging, and this thing is a powerhouse. But is it actually worth your money? Do you need something with this much power? Alright, full disclosure, INIU sent me this unit for review, but no money exchanged hands, and all my opinions in this video are my own. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it. Alright, let's start off with the build and design. So the Cougar P63 has a sleek matte finish that feels, premium, and it resists fingerprints, so that's really nice. It's not the most compact power bank out there, but for its capacity, it's fairly portable. Right? It also comes with this little baggie, which is, kind of cute. You can just put it in there. Not bad, not bad. Cute. It weighs about 370 grams, and so you won't really notice it in your bag, but it's definitely noticeable when it's like maybe in your pocket. It's definitely a chonky boy. Oof. It's chonkers, boy. Also, what's really nice, it has an LED display, so it shows you exactly how much charge is left on the battery. This is really useful since compared to other batteries, they kind of just give you a generic 3 lights, 4 lights, kind of blinking lights on your power bank. So knowing the capacity is a really nice plus. In terms of ports, the P63 gives you 3 outputs. There's 2 USB-Cs and 1 USB-A. One of them is power delivery. The middle USB-C port gives about 45 watts. And the other one is 100 watts, which means it can even charge, some laptops, which is awesome. It won't fully charge my laptop as it also needs a 90 watt or a 120 watt power bar. But it's recommended by Dell, but it can give it a charge in a pinch. So that's really nice to have. So there's 2 USB-Cs and 1 regular USB-A. The USB-C here is 100 watts in and out. The middle one is 45 watts output. And this one is 18 watts, which is pretty standard and all that stuff. So total for this section is about 15 watts. Sick. Fast charge, baby. So one of the biggest reasons I've been using this up so much is its fast charging capabilities. If you're charging a phone with a USB-C power delivery port, you can get about 0 to 50% in about 30 minutes, which is super solid. When I originally actually got this, I opened the box and started charging it just to get it ready. And I went away. I just felt like I was gone for 15-20 minutes. I don't know, it felt like 20 minutes. And originally it was at 40% power, but when I came back it was fully charged. So I don't know if I'm going crazy or anything, but that's amazing, so that's really awesome if you need this in a pinch and you just need to charge it up really fast. It gives you so much power and quick and speed. Love it. It also supports pass-through charging, meaning you can charge your power bank while it's charging your other devices at the same time. So comes in handy if you're stuck with just one outlet. Recently I'm actually moving around, so it's actually kind of nice to have this around while I don't have all my stuff and all my devices. So I kind of just leave my phone or having it on a counter or somewhere else and just let it charge while I'm kind of going out and about. So really nice. So how much can this thing actually charge, with the 20,000 milliamp capacity? I was able to get 4 or 5 full charges for my phone. I just have a OnePlus 8 Pro, so it's not the newest and greatest, but it still kind of requires a lot of power. So I also have a tablet and I got around maybe 1.5 charges, so that's really nice. So this is perfect for weekend trips, long commutes, or even just a backup when you forget to charge your phone overnight, and which I been doing lately. I just kind of been throwing it because I've been so tired, but yeah, it's really convenient for that reason. I've also used this on set twice now for charging my tablet as a playback for a director's monitor, or it was just a nice setup just for playback for people to watch. I put it on a portable stand, I just hooked up the battery, and then it felt great, felt good. Didn't feel uncomfortable that it was going to lose charge, but yeah, it was awesome. It's also a nice trickle charge for other devices, or when I'm out and about, I have my Fuji camera, and while I'm commuting, sometimes I don't want to switch out the battery, I just want to give it a little charge. And it's a nice charge because the Fuji has a USB-C cable input. very nice. Again, I'm also in the process of moving, so I actually just bring this along and, you know, charge my phone while I'm like, you know, renovating or like painting or whatever. I know it'll keep it charged for the full day while I'm out and about grabbing supplies and, you know, contacting service workers, management, whatever. So gives me a nice peace of mind. So there is a cool safety feature, you know, now with power banks, safety is a super important thing. You don't want things, you know, overheating or short circuiting or, you know, frying your expensive devices. So the Cougar P63 comes with a built-in overcharge and overheat and a short circuit protection, you know, which gives me, you know, peace of mind when I'm using it. You know, in my experience using multiple power banks throughout my life, you know, with different brands, different, you know, milliamps and all that stuff, I've never experienced overheating or, you know, overcharge, but, you know, it's a nice peace of mind. All right, so after knowing all that, is the INIU Cougar P63 the right power bank for you? You know, so let's break it down in a good old pros and cons list. All right, rapid fire, let's go. So the pros, it's a very high capacity, 20,000 milliamps of battery in this thing, amazing. Fast charging, it's USB-C power delivery, and it supports up to 45 watts, 100 watts, amazing. It has a LED display, you know, very clear, the battery percentage, great, awesome, amazing. It has that pass-through charging for charging devices while, you know, charging the power bank at the same time, so that's amazing. And it is a solid build, you know, feels premium, doesn't feel flimsy, you know, feels very, very solid. And it's a very nice compact size. So, okay, so here are some minor cons, but they're not really that big of a deal. So it is a little bulky. You know, it's not the lightest power bank out there. It's very, very thick. You know, looks can be deceiving, but it is a little chonky. This thing's a chonky boy. Okay, all right, another thing that's not a huge deal, but it's something to consider, you know, it doesn't, especially with the power banks that are out now, this thing doesn't have like a built-in USB cable or like a USB-C cable, lightning cable, whatever. So you have to bring one in that little baggie, hence the little bag, but it's not a big deal if you're carrying something like this. I'm assuming you might have a cable, but it would be nice to have one built in. So that's probably something for maybe the next version. And finally, the laptop charging, you know, is very limited. You know, it's good for small laptops, but it won't fully charge like a power hungry laptop, like a, I don't know, like a 15-inch or a 16-inch, you know, pro laptop, stuff like that. So, but again, it's nice in a pinch to charge. So is the Cougar P63 worth picking up? You know, personally, I would say yes. If you just need a solid high capacity power bank that can handle, you know, multiple devices and charge them quickly, whether it's, you know, traveling or you're like a remote worker or just, you know, always on your phone and just forget to charge it sometimes, you know, like me, you know, so this is definitely a solid investment and a solid pickup for sure. This will definitely stay in my arsenal for already all my portable chargers that I have and all the devices that I'm needing power all the time. So especially as a solo filmmaker, you know, I can't go wrong with another power bank, you know. That's it, man, you know, very, very nice. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to check it out or you just want more details or just, you know, interested in the power bank. So let me know in the comments what power bank you're using. You know, is it something bigger, maybe smaller, something more convenient? Would you ever consider upgrading to something this big or something this small in, you know, in retrospect? If there is something similar or better, you know, let me know in the comment sections below. Also, a thing I'll add about the comment section is how great the information outlet it can be. You know, I know there will always be a negative comments out there, but I love getting those, you know, awesome comments and those awesome ones that, you know, have information that even I didn't know about. So there's also things like, you know, you guys share your experience on your upgrades or like my later experience after I post the video, you know, vice versa. So I love that part. We're all upgrading our experience, you know, and our efficiency, which is what I love. And I think that's a great thing about being a techie or like a tech geek or whatever, you know, so that's really cool. Guys, again, thanks for watching. I'm on the road to 1,000, which is, you know, to some it's not a big deal, but to me, you know, it's amazing. I feel very blessed. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye. Woo, 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 woo.